Everyone, welcome to second webinar of Six in the Six, brought to you by three gentlemen from different fields, but all working for same technology, same transformation, digital transformation. Sam from Sonic IT, Peter from Haggard Media, and I'm Mayank from Signic Tech. So today's webinar, as I said, it's the second webinar, so we'll be listening to Peter with successful selling in world of digital transformation. Something about Peter. Peter is the director of Haggard Media Group, an organization that providing business-to-business marketing planning, website development, content, and other strategic business projects. This follows a 30-year career as editor-in-chief of daily and community newspapers in 3 provinces across Canada. He is a former foundation board member of North America Media Innovation Organization, the local media association, and its past president of Scarborough Business Association. He is also a board member of CLL Canada. Welcome, Peter. So let's start. Floor is all yours.
Very good. Thanks, Mayank, for that. I'm going to share my screen now. This is a very important session, I believe. This is a very important session for today in the sense that, where am I going? In the sense that, we have a little more time perhaps on our hands, and we're trying to see the road forward for our businesses. So certainly one thing we found in our businesses is the world of selling has changed. It used to be in many of our fields that the phone would ring, but the phone just doesn't ring so much anymore. We have to go out and we have to hope that people find us. And that means we have to be where people are looking for us, which leads us a lot to being online. You'll find about 70% of anyone's decision for a purchase is made before they even talk to the company. That's the same in a B2C or a B2B world. So that's one piece we're up against. But the other piece of selling is going out and making those sales. When we try to phone somebody, they don't pick up the phone. They don't return a call. So we have to go social as well. And the best tool for that is LinkedIn online. With LinkedIn, as you'll see today, we can hone in on the exact people who you're trying to reach through some of the LinkedIn programs and LinkedIn Navigator. But today, I'm going to take you through 3 steps to a successful LinkedIn experience and to enhance your social selling. We're going to talk a little bit about your personal profile and how that needs to interact with your business profile to show people that you're very committed and you're very passionate about your business. We're going to talk about that corporate profile and how you should handle your corporate page for your business. And I got to tell you, if you don't have a corporate page for your business, you really need to create one, because if not, you run the risk of somebody else creating that. And LinkedIn will put a corporate page up there that has, it's sort of just a shadow page talking about your business, but it really doesn't say anything. So you need to have control of that page. The worst thing that could happen would be someone else claims that URL page, maybe a disgruntled employee, and puts whatever they want up there. And then it's a mess, and then you've got to sort it out. So it really forces your hand to create your own corporate profile. And then we'll talk about LinkedIn Navigator. LinkedIn Navigator is a paid piece on LinkedIn. Depending on what you're trying to do, if you're trying to find that right audience locally, nationally, or globally, you may find LinkedIn to be a very useful tool. So we'll probably spend about a third of the time on each of these topics today. LinkedIn's ideal for a few different reasons. LinkedIn is ideal for lead sourcing, getting in touch with that right client, that perfect person for what you're selling, the service you're selling, particularly B2B. It's good for sharing information. If you do it right, you could be an influencer in your channel and people can look at you and say, oh, that guy's always talking about this topic. He knows all about internet security, or he knows all about SEO, or he knows all about roofing, whatever it may be. And, it's also it's a good place to keep in touch with people. They say these days that the new employees, They're going to go through 13 different businesses in their lifetime. They're going to keep moving around from company in company. That's kind of scary. An old guy like me, you know, we came out of school and we wanted to go to a company. We want to stay there our whole life. It's not like that anymore. But what you want to do is you want to keep that relationship you've built with somebody. And as they flip from company to company, you want to keep that relationship, because just like any other social media, LinkedIn is all about relationship. And I'll show you a few instances where you can see that. Here's some stats about LinkedIn, and you can see it's universally used. 191 million people in North America, but there's even more in the Asia Pacific, Latin America and Europe. Look at those numbers too. It's all over 100 million. It's a pretty even distribution of what's now about 740 million users. And every time I do this presentation, there's more users. I haven't updated these numbers in 3 months, and those numbers are all much larger today. You can see 91% of business leaders rate LinkedIn high on return of investment, and that's a return on investment of time and money. You know, LinkedIn, you don't have to use the money piece. You can do it without paying a penny. And it is time. Either way, it's time, but you can get good results without paying a penny. 80% most effective network for B2B lead generation. That's what we've been talking about and will continue to. Look at the nonprofits. Even nonprofits are on LinkedIn to a great extent these days. Now, it does skew male. I assume that's much to do with the way our society and the business leaders in our society skew. I suspect that will change in time. It does skew fairly evenly across all demographics. The 20s to 30s have discovered it, the 30s to 40s, 40s to 50s. Again, it's a pretty even distribution. So it's not just the leadership of the people who've been around a while in the workforce. Young folks are using it as well. Now, if your business is actually a nonprofit, they offer a 50% discount on services for a nonprofit. And I have to tell you, nonprofit businesses, they are probably one of the sectors who use it least effectively, and there's more opportunity for them than some of the others. Now, what I'm going to go through, and I'll give you certain examples. Here, let me tell you about this first. This is something we'll talk about, the exponential nature of reach. You know, when you post something about your business on LinkedIn and say you have 500 followers, that will get to about 5 to 8% of those followers organically. The way the algorithm works, if that gets acceptance and you get some comments or you get some likes, then it'll filter out to a few more of your followers and such. So there is that, your reach. But if you're a business and you have your whole staff and team sharing that same piece, again, that changes your reach dramatically. And then if you have partners to your business sharing it or clients sharing it, before you know it, you can have quite a large reach for your piece. It's all about making other people marketers on your behalf. All marketing is like that. Make other people become marketers on your behalf. And it's the same with LinkedIn. So on your personal profile, and I'll show you some examples, there are a few areas. These are the areas I would say are the most important for you to have in tune with your corporate page. These are the places where you can show your passion for your business of today, and you can show that you understand the mission of your business, and you can highlight what's important of the day to your business. There are certain other fields for the corporate profile I'll show you as well. And the corporate profile is really about two different things. There's a corporate profile for people coming to see your business and learn more about your business. And then there's the recruitment part. And if you're looking for employees, there are some pieces on the corporate profile that you can build that tell people about the culture of your workplace. And we know, particularly with younger people, this has become increasingly important. It's so important that it's become a major highlight of the corporate pages on LinkedIn. Then we'll talk about LinkedIn Navigator. And the way that you can use this effectively for lead generation. So enough of the PowerPoints. Let's get to the real meat and bones here. So I am going to show you a profile here. So here's a typical LinkedIn profile, as perhaps you all have at this point. So this fellow, he has a business. He's a consultant, and he has a business where he helps Microsoft partners adapt to the world, find new business, and find new services that they can offer to others. He's the host of a podcast called Partner Talks that is specifically for that field as well. So Rick does a lot of teaching. He does a lot of webinars in person, but webinars these days. So he has used this top of the thing of his profile effectively. He has a photo which really talks about who he is and what his business is. Don't underestimate the power of that. We all know photos and video are so important these days. Well, here's a photo and a fairly good use. What you can also do, the way to treat this is you could have your logo up there and a photo of representative of your business, and you can put a phrase that talks about your business or some kind of a call to action related to your business. You can put that up there as well, just to give people a few more hints. He's lacking a little bit hints about what he's doing standing talking to these people. We know he's in a leadership position, but we don't know what he's talking about. So use that photo effectively. It's a very important piece of your LinkedIn. I might also say make sure that these are representative of what you want. And if you have a business, make sure that you're pointing people to your business through these pieces as well. You can reach any of these elements through the pencils when you go to edit your profile. Contact info, it's the same way. Look, if you're selling something, I would not hesitate to put as much information as you can up there. You're a salesperson, sell your business. Make sure you've got an email up here. A lot of people forget that. They don't do an email. A lot of people just do their profile. Well, you're on the profile. You can pull that up from your menu bar. So it really doesn't add anything. But if you have social accounts that are important to you, I'd place them in there as well. So one of the other areas that are really important is this about. Now you'll find that there's an about piece on your corporate page as well. And you'll find an about piece on your corporate page as well. And I think that the about page on your corporate page, while it's about your company, some of the facts in there need to be mirrored in your about on this page. You need to show the way that you work within the confines of your business when you write your about text. This is something people forget. And I've actually gone into companies and done analysis of people's LinkedIn pages and find their about page is about the business they were working for 3 times ago. This is very important. This is right at the top of your profile, and people will see this first. You don't need a large about. Sometimes too much information isn't good. Too much information leaves too many holes. Try and keep it as crisp as you can, but you can have it 3 paragraphs if you wanted. This featured section is a relatively new section. I really like this featured section because what it does is this gives you the chance to put a PowerPoint, an upcoming event, a video, something related to what you're doing in here. So let me see. I have got another fellow on here too. Let me see if he's got anything in his feed. So in his featured here, he's got some blogs on here. These would be company blogs that talk about what they do. This fellow is a business consultant building strategy for organizations. So he uses this feature to his advantage. I do put a lot of my training courses up here. This is very important too, because this tells people exactly what you can put as many as you want up here. I would only put 2 up there because, as you can see, you're forcing people to scroll. But put the things that are the most important. So if you have a video about your business, or if you have a blog about your business, I'd feature one in there. It's a very important feature you might want to pursue. Activity. Now this activity, you don't do anything. It comes up on your profile automatically. And this mirrors everything you've liked or everything you've shared or everything you've commented on your profile. Why this is important is the 4 activities, your 4 most recent activities, if they are recent, they talk a little bit about who you are and what's important to you. So for instance, this guy, he's got 5 tips on managing a team, okay? He was interviewed in Authority magazine. He totally agrees with someone. He seems to be a positive person. What a great overview of the near future. Heather Stockton, I totally agree. So he's a positive person. He's got some information to share that I might want to know about. And he's got some authority because magazines are interviewing him. So just by this alone, it's telling me, oh, okay, he's a credible fellow. He's not a pretender. He's a credible fellow. So he's very strategic about what he makes sure are the kinds of things he follows. If you put a like beside a picture of a puppy dog, and people still put puppy dog videos on their LinkedIn, you put a like beside the picture of a puppy dog, well, you're now telling the world that that's the most important thing on this serious business platform for you. So be really careful about the activity you use it wisely, and it'll work for you. Just a little note, make sure on your experience that the last business you have or the last place you work has the most information. Sometimes people go, they're looking for a new job. So this was their old job, and they've got a lot of information trying to play favor with a new employer. But then when they get to the new employer, they forget to erase a lot of that and pump up the new employer. So it looks like all their passion was for their old job, but their new job, their new company that they're selling for, doesn't interest them as much. So make sure that your last employment mirrors your passion for that company and for what you're selling. And the final thing on the personal profile I want to share and tell you about is this interest piece. The interest piece. Now, this is divided actually into 4 sections. And this will tell all about your influencers, your companies that you follow, the groups you're in, and the schools you went to. This becomes important because sometimes if I'm dealing, say, with a Microsoft, someone who pretends to be in the Microsoft channel, I look and I see how seriously they follow on Microsoft, and I see what Microsoft leadership they follow. I see if the companies or the kind of companies that tell me they're very close to the channel, or is it just a random list? And I want to do business with people really close to the channel who I know have a great understanding of whatever I'm pursuing. Same with groups. Schools, not so much, but sometimes schools are interesting because I can look here and say, oh, look, I went to the University of Windsor. That's something we have in common. I can, this may be a talking point if I approach this individual. So those are the key sections which I think can help you in your sales, just aligning you with your business. Excuse me, aligning you with your business and your business culture, and telling people you're serious about what you do and you're committed and passionate. Next, I want to move on to the business profile, your company profile. Now, I've chosen a bigger company here. I've chosen Adobe because they use all of the potential tabs that you can put on a business profile. So while you would probably in a local business, for instance, probably have an about, posts, events maybe and videos. Those would be the ones you have. I wanted to show you some of the other tabs because it shows you how businesses are using this page these days for sales and what have you. So the about, as you imagine, and we talked about before, this is very important to fill out and be rather succinct again, but the important information about your company. And again, make sure you read this when you do your own personal profile. Make sure you're aligning. There's, of course, with the about, all the other business information that you want to give people. Now, this is a larger company, so it talks about its place in the world, frankly. Posts. Now, this is an important point. So this page is sort of like your website. It's a bulletin board of different things related to your company. You're more likely to post this off the cuff than change something on your website. You find that people will post 4 or 5 things on here, and only one of them will make it to the website in terms of a blog, or if it's important enough, on the front of their site. So this becomes a bulletin board of what's the newest that's important to this company. What's the newest piece? So people post to here. Now, the important thing to note is these posts won't get the reaction. If you're Adobe, you know, you're going to get 26,000 views and 18 comments. But if this post comes from your personal account, you're going to get 6 times the amount of traffic. It's because, like so many other social sites, it's your personal account that matters the most in the algorithm. It's the personal files and the relationships you have personally that matters most to the algorithm. So what I usually do is I will post to my personal account. I'll share that with other employees and have that chain of sharing that I showed you underway. And I'll duplicate that post and I'll put it on the corporate account. I'm going to move over to events. Of course, these days, the way things are, we're doing a lot more events, a lot more webinars like this one. And you can post a webinar on here. You can view that event and you can see it's a very neat, very nice. If you don't have another avenue to post your events, this is a great one. And you can see you can put your registration link and you can share. You can share it in a post, you can share it in a message. When you share it in a message, okay, they're changing this all the time. They're changing these things sometimes. Okay, so you can share it in a message to whoever you want to as well. And what's this? Report this event. All right. You can also copy this link for an email or what have you if you need to. But here's a nice little event, a place you can keep your events as well. And again, a bulletin board, even if an event's passed, if it's here, they can see, oh, they do a lot of events. So you can come back, and if there is a video from your event or a script or something, you can probably link to it, come back and link to it. Okay. So now, of course, now let's see if I just share what happens. That's the same thing. That's just where you can share the event. Okay. So video, of course, is a new, it's not new at all, but it's very popular. You can host video on here. You can host video through LinkedIn. What I tend to do is host the video, but I have the link, I have the video itself on a YouTube channel. That way I'm not having to put up the video multiple places. But video is something I'm sure they're going to further develop down the road because they know how important it is. It's relatively new to LinkedIn, but as you can see, it's Adobe at least is using this a fair bit. Now I'll show you briefly some of these other pieces. So life, this is part of a paid piece. And what this is, it talks a little bit about, it gives you that opportunity to tell people about what it's like to work at your company. It's a little bit of a, if I'm looking for a job and I'm considering Adobe, then it gives me some options where to look and to learn about working at Adobe. People, this will be on any site if you have enough employees. And this gives you a little bit of, I don't find this horribly useful, but it tells you a little bit about where this does get useful is when it's people you may know. Sometimes the key contacts, if you're looking up a company, sometimes you can find the exact contact you want on here. So that can be helpful. So for instance, if I'm going to try and sell them a marketing tool, here's the head of marketing right here. He may be the one I want to go to. So keep that in mind. The people sometimes is useful there. Insight, you have to be a big company to see very much there. And this just talks about where the people are employed, most in engineering. Senior management, you can see there hasn't been a lot of hiring in senior management lately. Interesting stuff, but not necessarily important for your day-to-day work. So that's really the options on the LinkedIn corporate page. And again, I encourage you, it's also very hard to get people to follow your LinkedIn corporate page. So don't get discouraged. As long as they're following you and you're posting through your own page, that's really important. That said, it is important to have this bulletin board here. One thing you can do, another thing you can do with this page is you can build these affiliate pages. And that's a secondary page that talks often about a product. So if you're selling a product, you can put something about that a product or a service. You can have a full page just talking about that product or service over here. And that'll sit in the sidebar of your main page. And it's a page just like any other. Here's the Adobe Creative Cloud. And you can see it's much like the other pages there. It's not as in depth. You can see it obviously doesn't have all that information about people, but it's like it's separate little piece of the company. So you can use these pages for products. You can use them for services. You can use them for anything you want, frankly. But you have that ability to add pages, affiliate pages. Sometimes they're called showcase pages. I think LinkedIn can't make up their mind what they want to call them because you'll see it referred to both ways in different LinkedIn literature. So now we've got a personal page set up, we've got a corporate page set up, and we've got the ways you can use those pages to your advantage if you're trying to get attention and sell. I want to show you a little bit about Sales Navigator if you haven't used this before. This is fun. I find this to be a real toy. Because this is the place where you can dig deep and find the exact person you want. Just wait for it to come up here. Now, Sales Navigator is a paid service. Last time I looked, it was $70 American a month. You have to decide whether it's right for you. For certainly a lot of companies, one sale, it's worth the whole year's subscription. But you have to decide whether it's right for you based on what your mission is. The key to this is in the searching. So here, I'm going to show you the filters. So if you come to the filters page in here, you can see you can filter by keywords, relationships, be it first, second, or third level to people, first degree relationships, schools. If you only have a fellow's last name you met, if you're looking for staff, seniority levels. If you're trying to find staff and you're looking for staff to approach from other companies. If a title is important, if you're looking within a certain company, for that right person, you can come to the company. Through the others, you can get the title. So if I want the HR person from Adobe, I can do that. If I'm looking for companies because I know that I'm regularly somebody who deals with companies of, 1 to 50 people, employees. I can pull up those two, 1 to 50 and 11 to 50. There are a lot of other filters here, which are important, which are good, because you can break right down. So I'm going, and you can search. So geography, for instance, we'll try one here. So I want to search the Greater Toronto Area. Greater Toronto Area. Okay. And I want to, my keyword's going to be in the Greater Toronto Area. I want to search restaurant management. We'll try that. I'd recommend you spell things right. That's just me, but you can put that in. So now we're searching the Greater Toronto Area restaurant managers, and there are 4,000 results. You can see up in this right-hand side, the number of results. Now, I want restaurants, or let me see, what would we do? Restaurants 1 to 10, 1 to 50, 11 to 50, that's probably good. Seniority level. I don't want new managers. I don't want entry level managers. So what you can do here is put entry and then click on here. It'll turn it red, and it means it will exclude entry level managers. It'll exclude unpaid managers. And we'll leave the others for this exercise there. Years in current position. I want people, though, I want people who've got a little bit of time in the industry, because I'm going to go deep with them on whatever I'm trying to sell them on. So I'm going to go 3 to 5 years, 6 to 10 years, and more than 10 years. So I'm looking at people with a lot of experience. And what else do I want to filter here? Maybe I will filter, filter language. I speak English, so English is going to be important to me here. Restaurant. Okay, I've got a bunch of things here. I've got 114 results at this point, so I'm going to look them up and see what we get. And really, you have to fiddle with this a little bit to get exactly what you want. Because sometimes I find with the keyword, it's better to use a title than a keyword, because if you use the keyword, you're going to get someone who might have been a restaurant manager in the past, but is no longer. And you can see co-founder at Spiffy, he's no longer. Here's a restaurant manager at Canteen Restaurant, manager at Mount Everest Restaurant, shift manager at Quick Service Restaurant. So we've got a whole bunch of managers, restaurant managers, well, not there. We do have general managers and restaurant managers here. So again, you really want to play with this and fiddle with this a bit to get the exact mix. And I'll show you some of my saved searches that have come with fiddling. And these relate to companies who I look for leads for. And where are they? Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, sorry about that. So now my saved searches. So for instance, I have a search for lighting distributors. So I work for an electrical contractor. So I have a lot of lighting distributors here. And I can follow up with these people. You also have access to people that you wouldn't necessarily be able to send a message to. So for instance, here, I wouldn't send to this person, but here's a third party, a third stage relationship. I wouldn't have access to send him a message necessarily. But I do when I'm in Sales Navigator. You also have the ability to view them and record that you've viewed them. So if you're going through this list multiple times, you know who you've already seen. So here's one of my lists. So say I want to approach somebody on this list. What I would do is, remember, you don't want to sell, right? The best selling is not selling. The best selling is for you to sell yourself or be sold by them. Let them discover. 70% of their decision making comes from 70% of their decision making comes from ahead of time. That's their discovering information. So let them discover about you. So approach them, let them look at your profile and decide whether they want to do business with you. So I would simply do this. I would go into the ... here. I would send them a connection, and I would send a message like, you only have about 35 characters in here, so you have to be brief. And I'd say, I would be right up front, said, we don't know each other. We don't know each other, but we're in the same channel. We're in the same industry. So I thought it might be a good idea to connect. That's all I'd say. All I would say. We don't know each other, but I thought it'd be a good idea to connect. That's all you say that first time. And then save them as a lead, and send that message. You'll find, or at least I find, 20 to 25% of those people accept your invitation. And a lot of the reason is because you didn't try and sell them. You just said you wanted to connect. So then 2 weeks later, if you have an event coming up, or you've got an ebook you published, or a paper or something, 2 weeks later, I'd go back to the ones who did connect with you and say, hey, thought you might be interested in this event we have coming up. And then talk just slightly about that, because once you're a first level person and you can reach them, you've got a little more leeway. You've got a few more characters you can use. So that's your second approach. Thought you might find this ebook handy. Thought you'd like to see this paper. This blog talks about change. You know, you might be interested in the changes in the industry I put together in this blog. Best regards. And then I would wait till the, like, if it's the second time and it's an event, then you've got a little passive selling in your event. But, and you can say in that second time, you know, if you want more information, look at the website or whatever, give them the website. And then I would, after that one, the third one, then I would start a little bit of selling. But build that relationship and have him respond first, or her, have them respond. That's really important. And you can see that this is somebody who, the second time you reach out to somebody, it'll say message. You don't have to work. See, it's pending. It's a pending contact. I'd send him something, heard nothing in return. If I choose to, I could message him, but I know he hasn't responded to my original. So, okay, that tells me what I want to know there maybe. Now, with this search, I can pull out this search, and in here, relationship, I can put all the first degree. So I can just look at the people who have connected with me from that list. And there's 4 on this list. So they've connected with me. That's an easy way to find who's connected. These are the ones I would approach next. These are sort of my top level leads. On another saved search, condo managers. So here's a search of condo managers. I want to look, and these are Toronto condo managers. I'm going to go to the first degree people again. And you can see on this list, I've got 174 who've linked into me. So that's 174 people I've established a relationship with. I wouldn't feel bad sharing more information with any of them. Now, important things to note: change jobs in the past 90 days. That tells you some of them may be new. Some of these people, if you search these 8, they're either new to their position or new to a new job. So that's a good reason to approach them, congratulate them on their new job. Don't forget about our service, whatever it may be. The people who posted in the past 30 days on LinkedIn, that's a clue to you that they're really active on LinkedIn. So they would be more likely to respond if you sent them a note because they're active on LinkedIn. Shared experiences. This could be you worked at the same place, you went to the same school, you took the same course, something that's a shared experience, and you can find it when you look at their profile. When you look at their profile, that can give you a talking point for building your relationship with that person. So these are important to look at too. These would be your, of these 174, you might approach these ones first. So this is fun, and the save searches, you can find a whole bunch of different people here. I found new employees for companies. I found people to reach out to become memberships of associations, and I found clients for companies as well. Now, through that search, there's another search function in the filters, and this would be the geography. You can actually search by postal code. So M1H2Y6, it's actually a postal code in the center of Scarborough. So what I have this one doing is searching within 10 kilometers of that postal code. You can do it within one, you can do it with a number of different geographies. But that's fine if you serve a specific area or if you're trying to reach a specific neighborhood. Use that, and that's quite helpful. In this case, for me, I'm a director of the Scarborough Business Association. So I was looking for managers within that Scarborough area. So you can see there are so many different ways. And once you get used to it, once you get used to the filters, you see pretty quickly the filters that work for you best as you search for that perfect client. And remember, it's that three-step sell. Just reach out and say you want to be linked to them because you're in the same channel or you have some affinity. Next time, offer them something if you can. Offer them something tangible and worthwhile. Don't just say a free half-hour session. That just sounds like a line. But offer them something without expectation of them talking to you. Maybe it's something. Maybe it's a paper that you have on your website or a blog that you have on your website that will bring them to the website so they can discover more about you, right? Because it's all about letting them find you as opposed to you pushing yourself in their face. So with those three components, your personal profile, your sales navigator, and your corporate profile. By the way, there's messaging and a different mailbox, and just be careful when you're in Navigator. It's a different mailbox than your regular LinkedIn. I don't know why, but that's just the way they do it. So you can access them both from here, but it's I know that you have to access both if you want all your messages. So at that point, Mayank, I think that's my presentation. If there are any questions.
Thank you, Peter. That was a wonderful presentation. Yes, I do have a few questions, and actually, it's a good learning experience. I've taken a bunch of notes for myself. So I think I'll be optimizing my profile after this session. Quick thing. So you said about, I just want to know any statistics, how many business make on buying decisions. So let's talk about business to business buying. So some in the slides you mentioned 80% of lead generation happens on LinkedIn. I was curious, is there anything people are making buying decision on LinkedIn, just going through profiles, and is there a limit of their capacity, budget, how much money they spend, or is there a range? So for example, if I'm buying a watch, I go to different website and I select and I make a
Right.
buying decision. My paying capacity for a watch is, let's say, 100 to 150 bucks. That's my price range. That amount of money I'm ready to spend on a business who I do not go physically. So that's what I was asking. So let's say a company
So
wants to make a bulk
I don't
purchase.
know of any numbers that suggest that it's a certain, sorry, you're digitizing.
Yeah, that's all.
I don't know any numbers that suggest if there's a size of the buying decision and how LinkedIn affects that. I do know that some industries are more effective than others. For instance, if you're trying to reach out to the medical community, very few of the medical community are on LinkedIn. That's just they have other avenues that they've chosen. So if you're a medical
Mm,
supply person, it may be a little tougher for you on here. Um, but I do know that large product, small product, they're all here. They are all here. It's most definitely a lot better and easier business to business than business to consumer on here, just because of the nature of the platform. It's mostly, not mostly, but it skews to business management as opposed to so people, it skews to business management. So it skews to people who are coming on here for a reason and to build and grow their businesses. So you can take that from both the seller and the client point of view.
okay, perfect. Another one. So we talked a lot about, sharing content, giving something out to people, that has value, that is tangible, nothing just for free. So suppose a company and organization don't have that much, capability to build that kind of content, blog or articles. How good it is, if we share content from other reputable publication, let's say a news publication or educational publication, we post in our page or maybe on a corporate page.
I
Does it
think,
make
yeah, I think that makes
a
good sense.
difference?
No, I think it makes good sense. It always is better if you can do it yourself, because when you do when you provide information yourself, it's that one more piece that says, "Oh, these guys are good. This is knowledge that these guys have firsthand." So that's always better. Um, However, it does make
Okay.
good sense to post from reputable sources. No question about it.
Rapid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you also mentioned somewhere that, like, while discussing that it's a good idea to start posting from your page because as a personal person, people feel more connected. So if I'm posting something from my page and then I want to, move it on to corporate page, usually the way I do it, I'm not sure it's right or wrong. I just want your opinion on that. What I do is I first of all post on my corporate page first, and then I share that corporate page on my profile. So is it something that you refer or the opposite direction?
So you find the algorithm rewards based on the amount of work you do. So if you post directly from your personal page, you get the most reward. They open it up the most for you and you end up with the best results. If you share from somewhere else, whether it's your corporate page or you're sharing a blog or something from somewhere else, you can do that. You will get less results than if you post it directly to your personal page.
Oh, okay. Follow-up question for that. So if I posted something on my page and I'm not sure does LinkedIn Pro corporate page has ability to share something from personal pages? Does it have? I don't know.
What do
If we
you
can,
mean? I mean, you can share to the corporate page. You can,
yeah.
I think you can share to the corporate page.
So my question is, suppose if I posted something on my page, so suppose I posted an article, 10 good ways to service your computer, that's on my page. Now, if we go with your theory that the best idea is to share from my page and then taking it to the corporate page.
Right.
So is there a way I can share the same post from my profile and pull it up and share on my corporate page? Does it, I don't know, does it work that way?
Um, I think you can do that. I don't tend to do that, and I'll tell you why. When
Hmm.
I post, I tend to do things like include a couple of partners in the post. So make sure to get related to their profile as well. So for instance, if I'm having a session like this, I will share with a couple of names of people I know who are related to the session too, to make sure it reaches their audience. I can't do that from the corporate page. So the posts that I put on the corporate page, I don't want those names on. So my posts tend to be slightly different.
Yep, that makes sense. I think, yeah, that's I think that's all about it. I have taken my notes. I think that's good. Wonderful session. And
you know, there's an awful lot there. It's and it just keeps changing. It keeps evolving. That's for certain. But the most important thing to keep in mind is it keeps growing too. It's very, very important for business these days. This is your business avenue. Thanks for the opportunity.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
So
Thanks a lot, Peter.
I thank you everyone, and I think that's the one. So our next webinar is on next Tuesday. That will be presented by Sam. So the topic will be what you need to know about SEO. Please do register for that. And yeah, that's all about it for today's session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.